Hello everyone and welcome back to the Talos Principle 2. So we're in North 3 right now. Substitution. Okay, it looks like there's a statue.
I've had a closer look at the Somnodrome. It's based on the original prototype with some modifications. As usual, the data is a mess, but I strongly suspect there might be a functional version somewhere.
I know some of you have heard stories about the answers this device might reveal, but please remember, that is not our main priority here. Keep an eye open for it, but focus on finding Athena.
Oh, animals! From Yarnith. To Athena, beloved founder, I beg you to return to us. We cannot achieve the goal without you. You are the one who defied Elohim, who overcame the trials of the simulation. What are we before that? How can we possibly find a path that will not lead to the mistakes of the past? You are our sole link to the wisdom of the progenitor. Without you, we are lost. Praised be your name, Yarnith 640. Human Construction, excerpted from What's Wrong with the World by G.K. Chesterton. Our modern prophetic idealism is narrow because it has undergone a persistent process of elimination. We must ask for new things because we are not allowed to ask for old things. The whole position is based on this idea that we have got all the good that can be got out of the ideas of the past. But we have not got all the good out of them, perhaps at this moment not any of the good out of them. And the need here is a complete freedom for restoration as well as revolution. I keep seeing 5358 pop up in a bunch of places. There is one metaphor of which the moderns are very fond. They are always saying, you can't put the clock back. The simple and obvious answer is, you can. A clock, being a piece of human construction, can be restored by the human finger to any figure or hour. In the same way, society, being a piece of human construction, can be reconstruction upon any plan that is can be reconstructed upon any plan that has ever existed. You can indeed turn the clock back, but if it stops ticking, it's dead. Black snow. I'm selected at archive documents A-C. The coal mine finally brought decent jobs. It lifted us up from poverty, made us proud. We weren't just ordinary workers, we were the lords of the underworld, and with our skills we kept the whole country alive. The mine also brought black lung, gruesome injuries, and death, and when it went away, it brought the collapse of our entire society. As for the plant, I know it brought electricity and even more jobs, and I know what a difference that made in people's lives. I also know that when we used to go out and play, there were black flakes in the snow. Why didn't they just switch to a safer technology once they realized coal was dangerous? They didn't always have a choice. Sometimes coal was all they had, or were allowed to have, and the alternative was poverty. At other times, they wanted to switch, but there were powerful interests that prevented change. We can't blame people for the world they were born into. Okay. Possibilities. Oh. I think I get it. There we go. There's something way out there. Lithoseer 06.
You may wonder why I insist on these unsanctioned, unplanned expeditions. Some think it is because I hate civilization and prefer to lose myself in nature. This is precisely the opposite of the truth. It is because I love New Jerusalem that I have to leave. Because it is only when I am here that I fully appreciate what the city means. And also because I believe that if I stayed at home, I would one day be ethically compelled to commit acts of violence against those who, in their arrogance, imagine that humans should live in harmony with the chaos that surrounds us.
Okay. Oh, whoa, there's an RGB converter way up there. The wall.
done 1K.
Hmm. Okay, 4 and 5 have got to be up here. Okay, there's the RGB converter. Prison. Hmm. Hey, I know what I need the boxes for at least. Okay, make staircase to get in. Okay, so I think I want to use... Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Okay, now I can... This box.
Wandering around these landscapes, solving puzzles. In a way, 1K's experience must be very similar to Athena's in the simulation.
There's one difference, though. Athena was alone.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to shine a beam out from that area. Over here somewhere.
Mother, can I suggest something?
Of course, go ahead.
The southern part of the island is completely dead. No animals, no plants. The soil is too alkaline for anything to live except bacteria.
Yes, that's why it's a good location for some of the experiments.
Well, if we want to show that we can make the cosmos more beautiful, then why don't we start there? The desert doesn't have to be dead. If we modify the conditions, life can thrive there. And that could be the first step towards spreading life to other worlds. What do you think?
I think that sounds like a plan.
Hmm. What was this called? Twice. Oh. 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 I get it. I get it. I get it. There we go. If I load it up with blue. Now all I need to do is bring this, then I don't need to bother with the inverter. Okay, the pillar with the RGB converter is over there. Okay, so that gives me green. And I wonder... Oh, I can't see the statue of Pandora from up there. There we go. Don't want to jump down that way.
Horses are broken, not taught. That is the way of humankind.
What did puzzles mean to the founder? What did puzzles represent to the founder? Whatever they may mean to us in our culture, what did they mean to her? We We have no record of her speaking positively about puzzles. She certainly never expressed any interest in solving more of them. The Devil's Bargain. From Theophilus of Adana to Dr. Faustus, from Marlowe to Goethe, there's a story that the ancients keep telling. A wise man tempted by the devil to sell his soul in exchange for knowledge, with terrible consequences. I've long wondered why they thought this story is so important, and I'd be curious to hear what others think. The ancient writers knew that knowledge is dangerous and its pursuit often leads to tragedy. Knowledge is dangerous for those who want to hoard power. These stories are designed to keep ordinary people compliant, and yet in a lot of the stories that I've read, the writer seems fascinated with the devil's side of the argument. No, I don't agree with either Malduk or Damien. So, the pursuit of knowledge comes at a cost, but without it the world is boring. I'll go with this. Knowledge can be extremely disruptive to a society. They were grappling with that. One case speaks wisely. The world is a narrative, and nothing is more threatening than a misleading story. Please spare us that nonsense about narratives. You've heard it a million times. Let's all stay civil, please. Okay, nothing up there. All around. Hmm. There we go.
I often think about how many cities there are out there under the ocean. Cities where people lived for thousands of years. Cities with their own history, their own culture. All of it lost under the waves. If they'd been less greedy, they could have kept all that.
I don't think we can pass moral judgment on an entire species based on the decisions of a handful of leaders. But I do think they made a mistake. They stopped caring about what they built. They stopped seeing the romance of civilization.
Hello. The next abandoned lab. Alright, there doesn't seem to be anything else here. Okay. Up and down. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, okay, I can detach those fans, but... Hmm. Hmm. Okay. And if I take this out, let me get I need a sacrificial fan. Okay, there's another console over there. Poisonous humility. Excerpted from Orthodoxy by G.K. Chesterton. But what we suffer from today is humility in the wrong place. Modesty has moved from the organ of ambition. Modesty has settled upon the organ of conviction, where it was never meant to be. A man was meant to be doubtful about himself, but undoubting about the truth. This has been exactly reversed. Nowadays, the part of a man that a man does assert is exactly the part he ought not to assert. Himself. The part he doubts is exactly the part he ought not to doubt, the divine reason. Huxley preached a humility content to learn from nature, but the new skeptic is so humble that he doubts if he can even learn. Thus, we should be wrong if we had said hastily that there is no humility typical of our time. Truth is that there is a real humility typical of our time, but it so happens that it is practically a more poisonous humility than the wildest prostrations of the ascetic. The old humility was a spur that prevented a man from stopping, not a nail in his boot that prevented him from going on. The old humility made a man doubtful about his efforts, which might make him work harder. The new humility makes a man doubtful about his aims, which will make him stop working altogether. I had to read this twice to fully understand it. Excursion Report 3 from Miranda to Athena. It's incredible. There's an entire submerged town just off the coast, surprisingly well preserved. Sailing over it, I finally understood what the ancients meant by eerie. I obviously couldn't have the kind of physiological response they did, but I think the mental response was pretty close. Contradictory response, part melancholy, part fascination. It's strange how tragedy and destruction make the beauty of civilization more obvious. Miranda. P.S. A deer got into the maintenance area and made a huge mess. Sorry, I'll clean it. P.P.S. I may have been feeding it. From Hypatia's Journals, volume... Okay, day 296. Cornelius and Sarabai went back to the dam today. We've been holding off on constructing any new humans to concentrate on building a home for them first, but there's a limit to what 13 people can do on their own, and everyone is eager to start construction on some of the more ambitious structures. Sarabai's kindness and patience is something that we'll certainly miss out here, where tempers can sometimes run high, and I'll miss Cornelius too. He was there when I was born, and he is just as much a father to me as Athena and Alexandra Drennan are my mothers. But I suppose I could always go visit them. The dam isn't far, and once we complete the monorail in a few decades, it will truly only be a few minutes away. And what are a couple dozen years, really, when you might live forever? Trevor06.
Something I really like about Alex, one of the reasons why I'm here doing this, is that she's really humble. She has this incredibly positive view of humanity. She believes we can accomplish anything, but it's not about her. She doesn't think that she's smarter or better than anyone else. She just looks at us as a species, and even though she can see how small we are in the grand scheme of things, she thinks that we could conquer the stars and give meaning to the universe. Even now, even when none of us are going to live to see it. Isn't that awesome?
All right. Puzzle number 7. Propulsion. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
I admire your persistence, 1K.
Okay. Transmission. Hmm. Hmm. Uh, hmm. Hmm. Okay, okay. Hey. Ew. Alright, and then there's the other Delta puzzle over here. That's just what I'm calling them.
Miranda, would you like to play a game?
You want to play a game?
That sounds like fun.
It is. Remember what Alexandra Drennan said about games?
They're part of what makes us human.
Exactly. And this is a game Alexandra Drennan designed when she was still in school. It's based on her favorite book. Have a go.
Hmm. 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 What's this puzzle called? Elegance. Okay, now that this is over here. There we go. Alright, let's find that Prometheus sprite. Okay, so... Alright, so this is... right somewhere this way. Okay, there it is. Nope.
Paradise cannot be found. It must be built.
Okay, so over here I saw like one of those little flame things. Yeah, and those, there it is. Alright, get ready. Oh, okay, it's just staying there. Alright. Places of longing, New York. New York was a place that aroused great passions. Some loved it and some called it the greatest city in the world. Others hated it and called it an ugly cesspit full of rude snobs. I don't know where the truth lies, but I know it was a place full of life. There was always something new going on, people rushing about, excitement in the air. It must have been an overwhelming sensation to stand in the canyons formed by those great skyscrapers, in a crowd of people, feeling history happening all around you. Not everything the founder built lasted. One of the founder's labs seems to have collapsed. I guess that shows that even the founder has limits. There's no human building that can survive without maintenance. Roots are stronger than concrete. Unless she destroyed it on purpose, of course, but it seems like the ceiling just came down. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the puzzle clusters on the island correspond to the presence of labs. Except the lab near our base camp, which doesn't have any puzzles attached to it, although it does have other strange structures surrounding it. Are the puzzles guiding us to the labs, or are we just finding the labs by accident? Prometheus!
Hear me, friend, and heed my words. Beware Pandora. She is nothing but fear and despair, and she will do anything to prevent you from reaching the flame. It is she who disrupted the trials of the Sphinx, and who bound me in the...
Well done, 1K. Looks like our hypothesis was correct. The megastructure is opening again. Everyone come to the VTOL, please. It's time to find Athena.
What about Pandora? She seems capable of displacing or controlling the other entities.
We should be careful, but we can't let such a vague threat paralyze us. Just keep your eyes open. There's something I've been thinking about. I know the New Alexandria disaster was traumatic. I know accidents like that make us think that it's best to stick to what we have. But what about all the accidents that have happened in New Jerusalem that nobody talks about? The collapse of the Rakovsky building. The Calvin Street explosion. The derailment that almost killed Benaroya and Kaneda. All of those happened because we stopped investing enough resources in our civilization. And if Melville hadn't been put in charge of city maintenance, this would still be happening.
It will happen again either way. With how little we have to work with, it's only a matter of time.
You see, there may be a price for pursuing progress, but there's also a price for not pursuing it.
Resources, government refuses to invest resources in proper infrastructure maintenance. Where have I heard that before?
All right, here we go again.
Our main objective is to determine the relationship between the Megastructure and Athena. Did she find it? Did she build it? Why was she here in the first place? Explore, dig up anything you can. We need to start finding answers.
I can't imagine one person building all this.
Don't forget about Miranda. There were at least 2 of them.
But
I
even
can't
so,
imagine 100 people building this.
All right, everyone. Have a look around, but stay in touch and be careful.
1K, can you stay a moment? I'd like to talk to you. I know you can't wait to start exploring, but just hear me out, okay?
sure.
I'm concerned. Byron is brilliant, but all he can think about is the possibility of finding Athena. She was his mentor, and her disappearance shattered him. I'm afraid he's not seeing the dangers of the megastructure.
Yeah.
To me, this place seems chaotic, dysfunctional. Yes, it's all very impressive, but I think it's broken. And what we're seeing is, it's nonsense, frankly. You've interacted with it more than anyone. What do you think?
It is somewhat broken, but underneath that there seems to be some kind of pattern.
I don't see it. Or at least I'm not convinced that the pattern is meaningful. Maybe I'm wrong, but please, be careful.
I'm headed deeper into the megastructure. Not quite sure where I am. Seem to be right in the middle of the machinery.
Please, watch yourself, Byron.
This is incredible. I don't even know how to describe what I'm seeing. I don't think this is a building. I think this is a machine.
What's that? Mostly in version 0. Can we literally bootstrap this to any scale?
Why don't you just tell people that they're wrong? If you tell them the truth, they'll listen.
It's not that simple. Straton wrote that the most common error we commit is to think that ideas determine reality, when in fact the opposite is true. Ideas follow from material conditions. Belief systems are formed to explain and justify the way we live. We did not have kings because we believed in the mandate of heaven. We believed in the mandate of heaven because we lived in monarchies.
But we have free will.
Oh, free will isn't the same as freedom, Miranda. We're not free from the constraints of reality or history. I was shaped by the simulation. New Jerusalem is shaped by its limitations.
So, what? We're just trapped? History can only go one way?
Maybe, maybe not. The question is, how do we free ourselves? How do we build a world where our ideas do shape reality? That's why we came here.
So Cornelius was with her. No one else.
I knew it. Athena's here. She built this.
That other voice, was that Cornelius?
It definitely sounded like him.
Come to think of it, he went on a research expedition around the time Athena vanished. He was gone for years. People thought he'd died.
And all this time, he knew where she was?
We should talk to him.
We will, when we get back. But right now, we have to focus on finding Athena. We are so close.
Are those surfaces magnetic?
Oh.
It's anti-gravity. Your coot was right. I should have known.
Oh boy.
1K, I'm over here. Hold on. I'll open that door for you.
Same pattern as before. 3 beams, 3 receivers.
I guess we know what to do.
Be careful. The sheer amount of power running through this place.
I'll take care of this puzzle. You do the other 2, okay? This is kind of fun. Maybe Alexandra Drennan was right. Play is part of what makes us human. No. Is there anything in the system that could tell us where got it?
Hmm. Hmm. Nope, wrong way. Okay. Oh, okay, I didn't see that. Okay. Hmm.
Not to alarm anyone, but I think the ground is shaking.
According to the system, whole parts of the interior are moving around. Like it's rearranging itself.
I think that's what happened last time. When I took the elevator, the platform where I got out just moved away.
gate's opening. I'm heading in.
Um.
This is fascinating. They were both here, Athena and Cornelius. They had a plan. I found a file that... I can't...
Byron's trapped in the overload. He's failing to disconnect.
The whole system's going haywire.
1K, get out of there! Everyone back to the VTOL!
Act 3. Prometheus Bound.
We have to go. Now, 1K, get moving!
We can't just leave Byron behind.
Yeah, Coot, we have no idea where he is or what's happening to him. But right now, if we stay here, we could all die.
The system's going completely bananas. Energy spikes everywhere.
We'll come back for Byron, I promise.
What have you done, you fools? Mortals are not meant to tread these halls. Why will you not heed my warnings? I am not trying to harm you, creatures of clay. All I wish is to protect you and the rest of your kind. What more must I do to make you understand? If you cannot be reasoned with, I must bar your path.
Move, 1K, move.
I'm going as fast as I can. Okay.
These energy emissions are messing with the VTOL systems. Okay, I think I've got it working. Get here quickly, 1K.
Move it. Move it or lose it.
Come on, get in!
Get us out of here, Yakut.
Okay, we're out. Now what?
Looks like the southern sites are active. The readings are strangely jumbled, though.
Should I set us down?
Yes, but just to drop off Melville.
What?
We're going back to New Jerusalem. This situation has gotten out of control. We need to regroup. Rushing in blindly isn't going to save Byron. But we also need someone to stay here and keep an eye on things. Melville, that's you.
All right. I'll see if I can make any sense of these systems while you're gone.
Just keep a safe distance, okay?
Will do.
Good. Well, 1K, I guess it's time for you and me to take a nap.
Do not lose hope, my child. In these difficult moments, find solace in your friends and in the home that you share.
Here we are. Got an update from Melville. The power spikes are continuing, but no news from Byron.
All right. Thank you, Yakut. You get the VTOL ready for the next trip. I'll talk to the mayor. 1K, please head over to the Museum of the Simulation and talk to Cornelius. Let's see what he has to say for himself.
City news. The expedition to the Founders Island has suffered a serious setback as all contact with Byron was lost during a foray into the interior of the megastructure. Byron is assumed to be alive, but trapped within a data stream overload and unable to disconnect. Several sources in the government expressed a lack of surprise at this turn of events, citing the first companion's history of rash behavior. Hopefully this gets people thinking about the dangers of populism, one source told me. It's been alarming to see people suddenly falling for this utopian foolishness. DemFX 3112 now open. I'm very happy to announce that the Gehenna Memorial Interactive Fiction Exhibition is now open to visitors. Come play the 3 winning works of the Gehenna Memorial Pavilion. Finally, can't wait. Wonderful news I'll be attending today. Nice. Please be made available through the interface too. Yes, after the exhibition is over. The pessimist is commonly spoke of as the man in revolt. He is not. Firstly, because it requires some cheerfulness to continue in revolt. And secondly, because pessimism appeals to the weaker side of everybody, and the pessimist therefore drives as roaring a trade as the publican. The person who is really in revolt is the optimist, who generally lives and dies in a desperate and suicidal effort to persuade all the other people how good they are. It has been proved 100 times over that if you really wish to enrage people and make them angry, even unto death, the right way to do it is to tell them that they are all the sons of God. Jesus Christ was crucified, it may be remembered, not because of anything he said about God, but on a charge of saying that a man could in 3 days pull down and rebuild the temple. Every one of the great revolutionists, from Isaiah to Shelley, have been optimists. They have been indignant, not about the badness of existence, but about the slowness of man in realizing its goodness. The prophet who was stoned is not a brawler or a marplot. He is simply a rejected lover. He suffers from an unrequited attachment to things in general. G.K. Chesterton. Rip Byron, TLDR, Rip Byron. We don't know that he's dead. He may just be lost. He could still be saved. I was going to say something sarcastic, but you know what? In the spirit of optimism, I really hope so.
The world is full of suffering. Every living organism suffers. Animals kill other animals to eat. And it always ends with death, torn apart or wasting away. This is what surrounds us. This is what's happening outside those walls, every hour of every day. It's our ethical responsibility as sentient beings to lessen suffering. That's what it means to be human, to understand that it is your duty to transform this world into something better. That's what the founder meant when she said that we can turn the world into a work of art. Despite what happened to him, Byron was right. We have to keep going.
This is blasphemy. Byron was punished for failing the Founder's trials. And you want us to dig deeper? Just because you can't accept that suffering is natural and necessary?
Please, everyone, stop using the public frequency. If you want to argue, use your interface or speak in person.
Alright, that's where I'm calling it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night with some of A Link to the Past. Maybe Elden Ring on Friday, and I think this, whatever I end up doing, this weekend I'm going to try and finish Silent Hill 2 Remake. So yeah, I'll see you all later, whenever that ends up being. So thank you all for watching, have a good night, and have a good, let's see, today is Wednesday, have a good Thursday then. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.